From a military point of view, attacks such as those carried out by Russian occupiers in Ukraine on the night of August the 21st make no sense at all. The head of the Center for Countering Disinformation under the National Security and Defense Council of Ukraine, Andriy Kovalenko, announced this on his Telegram channel. Again, the most stupid attack by Russians, with missiles and Shaheds on many cities, Lviv, Rivne, Lutsk, Mukachevo, and others. From a military point of view, the attacks make no sense at all. Russia will not win the war. It will not break the rear. It will not affect the battlefield. It is simply a desire to kill and terrorize civilians. However, again, this will not affect the war in any way, he emphasized. At the same time, Kovalenko added, various Patrushevs and Gerasimovs constantly bring Putin papers that Ukraine will soon fall, and he gives the go-ahead and prolongs the war, avoiding resolving the issue of ending it. Of course, Putin needs to be put under pressure, because his behavior is adjusted exclusively through pressure. Trump has already narrowed his room for maneuver. More work is needed. Otherwise, such stupid blows will continue. The head of the National Security and Defense Council's Center for Political Affairs wrote. He also noted that an American company's plant specializing in electronics was attacked in Mukachevo. In addition, the Russians attacked a Polish enterprise in Vinnytsia, as well as the capacities of the Azerbaijani Sokar, that is, civilian facilities. Putin, like an ordinary rat, is sending a signal to Trump. I don't even know if there is a more disgusting nation on the planet than the Russians. Ordinary rats are rotten, Kovalenko emphasized. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenski said that they hit civilian infrastructure enterprises, residential buildings, our people. They used several cruise missiles against an American enterprise in Zakarpattia. It was an ordinary civilian enterprise. American investments. They produced such ordinary household items as coffee machines, and this is also a target for the Russians. Very indicative, he noted. The head of state added that the fire at the enterprise is currently being extinguished. It is known that 15 people were injured in this attack. All of them were given the necessary assistance. He recalled that in just one night, 574 attack drones and 40 missiles were used against Ukraine, a significant number of which were shot down. And the Russians have launched this attack as if nothing has changed at all, as if there are no efforts by the world to stop this war. A reaction to this is needed. There has not yet been a single signal from Moscow that they are really going to engage in meaningful negotiations and end this war. Pressure is needed, strong sanctions, strong tariffs. Thank you to everyone who is helping, the president emphasized. As reported earlier, Pavlo Lakichuk, head of security programs at the Center for Globalistics Strategy 21, expressed the opinion that by massive strikes against the civilian population, in particular the attack that occurred on the night of August the 21st, Russian President Vladimir Putin is trying to force Ukraine to agree to so-called peace agreements, which in essence mean capitulation. According to the expert, the massive attack on Ukraine is yet another attempt to intimidate our country and is rather a manifestation of not strength, but impotence.
A Ukrainian citizen suspected to be one of the coordinators of the undersea explosions in 2022 that damaged the Nord Stream gas pipelines between Russia and Germany has been arrested, German prosecutors said Thursday. According to Associated Press, the suspect, identified only as Serhiy K, in line with German privacy rules, was arrested overnight by officers from a police station in Misano Adriatrico, near the Italian city of Rimini, federal prosecutors said. Explosions on September 26, 2022, damaged the pipelines, which were built to carry Russian natural gas to Germany under the Baltic Sea. The damage added to tensions over the war in Ukraine as European countries moved to wean themselves off Russian energy sources, following the Kremlin's full-scale invasion of Ukraine. Investigators have been largely tight-lipped on their investigation, but said 2 years ago they found traces of undersea explosives in samples taken from a yacht that was searched as part of the probe. In a statement Thursday, prosecutors said Serhiy was one of a group of people who placed explosives on the pipelines and is believed to have been one of the coordinators. They said he is suspected of causing explosions, anti-constitutional sabotage and the destruction of structures. He was arrested on a European arrest warrant that was issued on Monday. The suspect and others used a yacht that set off from the German port of Rostock, which had been hired from a German company using forged IDs and with the help of intermediaries, prosecutors said. They didn't give any information on the other people aboard the yacht or say anything about who else might have been involved in coordinating the suspected sabotage, or about a possible motive. The explosions ruptured the Nord Stream 1 pipeline, which was Russia's main natural gas supply route to Germany until Moscow cut off supplies at the end of August 2022. They also damaged the Nord Stream 2 pipeline, which never entered service because Germany suspended its certification process shortly before Russia invaded Ukraine in February of that year. Russia has accused the US of staging the explosions, a charge Washington has denied. The pipelines were long a target of criticism by the US and some of its allies, who warned that they posed a risk to Europe's energy security by increasing dependence on Russian gas. In 2023, German media reported that a pro-Ukraine group was involved in the sabotage. Ukraine rejected suggestions it might have ordered the attack and German officials voiced caution over the accusation. German prosecutors didn't say when they expect Serhiy to be handed over to German authorities. Swedish and Danish authorities closed their investigations in February 2024, leaving the German prosecutor's case as the sole probe. Poland's defense minister said that a flying object that crashed and exploded in a cornfield in eastern Poland early Wednesday was identified as a Russian drone, calling it a provocation by Russia. According to Associated Press at a news conference in Warsaw, Defense Minister Władysław Kosiniak-Kamysz accused Russia of provoking NATO during a crucial moment, as peace talks over the war in neighboring Ukraine are underway, the country's news agency PAP reported. Russia is provoking us once again, Kosiniak-Kamysz said, just as peace talks have given hope that the war has a chance of ending. Police said they received reports of the crash around 2 a.m. and found burned metal and plastic debris at the scene, near the village of Ozany. The blast broke windows in some nearby houses, but nobody was injured, PAP reported. Poland's Armed Forces Operational Command said Wednesday on social media that no violations of Polish airspace from neighboring Ukraine or Belarus were recorded overnight. Officials initially said the explosion may have been caused by a part of an old engine with a propeller. Lublin District Prosecutor Jegorz Trusiewicz told reporters several investigators, both civilian and military, were examining the crash site. Since Russia launched a full-scale invasion of Ukraine more than 3 years ago, there have been a number of intrusions into Polish airspace, raising alarm in the European Union and NATO member state and reminding people how close the war is.